to another episode of Film and Business. I'm Rosa Camero, your host, film producer, and CEO and founder of Ramiro AI, the film marketing and distribution assistant made for filmmakers like you. In this episode, I'm thrilled to welcome Marc Marriott, an award-winning director and producer with over 20 years of experience in film and television. Marc recently released his debut feature film, Tokyo Cowboy, which has already earned multiple awards. Marc's storytelling career has taken him for apprenticeship under legendary Japanese filmmaker Yoji Yamaha to directing content for major networks like the Discovery Channel, History Channel, and SPM. His work has been recognized at over 20 international film festivals, including Cannes. He is a proud graduate of UCLA's prestigious directing program. Hi, Marc.
Hello, good to be with you, Rosa. How are you?
Welcome to this episode of Film and Business. So, to start the conversation, tell us, besides this amazing career that you have had and already said a little bit, but tell us a little bit more about you, who you
Yeah.
are, what you do, and maybe I missed like some important facts in that bio.
Yeah, I'm Marc Marriott. I've had a long career in film and television and documentary, reality, and corporate industrial video. So I've been making a living as a content creator for 30 years. Um, Went to UCLA Graduate Film School, really with the intention of doing narrative feature work, and had a feature film project right out of the gate when I graduated, but really didn't know a lot about how to get a project set up. It was a really cool project. It was a John Updike novel adaptation called Of the Farm. We had really well-known actor named John Ritter attached to it, but it kind of just never came together. And then John Ritter died, and then like none of the funding came together. And in the meantime, I was starting a young family, and I was offered a job in television, and so I started doing work in documentary and reality television, and that was really amazing and led to other types of jobs. I was a series producer for shows on Discovery Channel and History Channel. I did a show called Axemen, a show called Driver X about racing, NASCAR racing. Just really fun, interesting stuff. I loved all of that work. Then just recently, about 4 years ago, I started getting really serious about doing a feature film because that's what I had originally intended to do, and I always felt like something I could do well. And so I started down this path of making this film, Tokyo Cowboy, and that's what is out in the marketplace now. My film, Tokyo Cowboy. Um, yeah, I lived in Japan when I was much younger. When I was like 19 years old, I was actually a missionary in Japan. I lived there for 2 years and learned how to speak Japanese and really got to love the culture. And then after that, I did an apprenticeship with this very famous director, Yoji Yamada, who's still directing films. He's in his 90s,
Oh,
and
wow.
he just released his 90th film. So he is like an institution in Japan, and he makes these films that are very filled with a lot of warmth and humor and humanity. And I've always aspired to make films like Yoji Yamada makes films, and I think there's a little bit of his certainly his inspiration, but a little bit of the spirit of Yoji Yamada in this film, Tokyo Cowboy.
That's super, super interesting. Is it different because you have worked in TV for many years, and now that you have your first feature film,
Yeah.
what are the difference that you can notice in these two worlds?
Well, you know, I, as I mentioned, I really loved documentary work because like when I did the NASCAR show for Discovery Channel, I didn't know anything about racing and NASCAR. And all of a sudden I find myself on pit row with Jack Roush and Roush Racing and learning all about this world. And so it just afforded me the opportunity to learn so much about all different kinds of people and cultures and travel a lot and do different projects. I did a lot of work, corporate industrial work for Chevron. So traveled the world doing different projects for them. Went to like places like Kuwait and Indonesia and lots of places in Asia and Europe and so I really loved that uh, experience. And I have to say that I brought a lot of that experience into my feature filmmaking work. Um, just a little bit of the way of working where you kind of in documentary you're really kind of letting things develop and you're trying to
Hmm.
do things with a light hand and you're not trying to force anything and you're trying to just get to ask really good questions so that you can get to the core of what the content is and it became known in the documentary world uh, of doing these really uh, heartfelt, authentic interviews, right? I developed a way of working that I could get people to really open up and talk very authentically from their heart. And that was really helpful in the feature film making world. So yeah, it's kind of funny how it wasn't the career path that I had planned from the beginning, but it ended up being really an amazing career and I hope to do many more uh, not only documentary projects, but I've got some plans to do some more feature filmmaking work as well.
Once that you taste it, you can get you cannot get enough.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
tell us where did the idea for Tokyo Cowboy come from and
Yeah.
what inspired that idea?
Yeah, so when I was around the same time that I was doing this internship in Japan with Yoji Yamada, I saw an article in a magazine, and it was about a real ranch in Montana owned by a Japanese company, and they would send workers from Japan, these salarymen, over to Japan to learn ranching on the American side, and they become cowboys in America. So that was just because of my love for Japanese culture and my love for the American West, and it was kind of like the combination of these two amazing worlds, but very, very different worlds. It just kind of stuck in my head. And many years later, I have a friend from my undergraduate university, a guy named Brigham Taylor, who I knew at our undergraduate university, and then we also we volunteered together at the Sundance Filmmakers Lab. And then we both moved to Los Angeles around the same time. I went to graduate film school, and he started working in like a low-level development job at Disney. And so while I was doing my career, he was making his way up the ranks at Disney until he became full-fledged producer. Amazing. He's had an amazing career. Um, it was his idea to do Pirates of the Caribbean. He developed all these, uh, he was doing the Jungle Book. He's a producer on the Jungle Book. I did some of the behind the scenes and bonus features for Christopher Robin in London. And so I worked with him on Christopher Robin for Disney. And I was talking to him one day and I was saying, I really want to do a feature film. And he was very gracious and said, well, come to my office at Disney and pitch me some ideas. And I had this idea about the Japanese cowboys. So I pitched him an idea, just Japanese cowboys, like, um, and this was kind of just a jumping off point for what became Tokyo Cowboy. It's inspired by this magazine article, but it really didn't follow any of the details of the lives of these people. But it was really interesting and fun developing this project with Brigham Taylor because he's really good at developing story. And so and he was also really interested because this was very different than the Disney movies that he was making. Here was an opportunity to make kind of a smaller, quieter film that's just about a character's journey and this exploration of culture. And Brigham is a big fan, and so am I, of independent films. But he had always been doing these big, tentpole movies that have, some formulaic elements that have to appeal to a really big, wide audience. And so he got really excited about doing something very different. And we started working together on this project. So that's kind of where the genesis of the idea came from and how it started.
So talking about, because you pitched this idea and
Yeah.
then that's something that was in your mind, your destiny take you to another place instead of what you wanted to do. So what was the mindset around, okay, I'm gonna make a film. I mean, this is the time. I mean, this is a moment that I want to make a film. And what was the mindset to take you to that point that actually make the film?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's alternatively terrifying and exciting. And terrifying because at that point I 30 years was telling myself this is something I'm going to do, this is something I'd be good at, and at some point I'm going to direct my first feature film. And but then like these doubts creep in and you're like, well, I haven't done that before. Maybe what if, I'm not really good at that. Um, and so I had to just kind of get past those fears, but also I was really determined at that point. I think for filmmakers starting out a project, one of the things that is very powerful is if you just say, I'm doing this. I'm going up that hill. Come along with me, but I am going up that hill. This is going to happen, this project. And really, the money is in you, right? Like sometimes we're waiting for the cavalry to ride in and save us, or some big, investor to come and you know, set up our project, or somebody to green light. You are your own green light, right? You just if you learn some filmmaking skills, if you can shoot something, you can run a camera, you know a little bit about sound, you get some other people that are similarly minded and have some skills, you can make a film and you can start. So this was a project that obviously it requires a lot of people to make a film. And this is an ambitious film. We shot in Tokyo, we shot in Montana, we had international actors. It was going to require some resources, but just at the beginning of it, I was just determined and just said, "This is happening. Um, I don't care if I have to pay for the script myself. I'll do that. We're going to start." And then we put together a pitch deck, and I started talking to some different people to become investors on. But yeah, it was that was the mindset, was just this is happening, and no matter what, I'm going to do this.
How long it took you from idea, so from that first pitch to your producing partner to
Hmm.
actually get the money for Tokyo Cowboy?
Yeah. Well, once we had a script and and a pitch deck, which was within about a little less than a year, we had a script and a pitch deck, and I started pitching investors, and within uh, and I also started calling people that I knew, telling them about this project. It was a really soft sell, just like, hey, I'm doing this. I've got a pitch deck. I'll send it to you if you're at all interested. Um, and there's actually kind of a funny story about the first call that I made. Um, I have two friends named Paul White, and I I actually called the Paul White. I thought I was calling one Paul White, and I called the other Paul White,
Oh
and I
no.
was about 5 minutes into the phone call before I realized that I had called the wrong one. But I just went ahead and said, hey, um, I'm doing this project. I'll send you a pitch deck. Um, Hung up the phone, sent him the pitch deck. Within about 5 minutes later, he called me and said, "Hey, I'm in. I want to invest in your film." And it was really amazing. And from there, the journey was just like I could never really predict who would be interested. The people that I thought might be interested weren't. The people that I didn't think would be interested were. And so it just was a good lesson to me to just tell everybody about the project. Um, so in the world of independent film, we went really pretty fast. Within a year, we had a script and we were raising money. Within about 2 years, actually in production, and by within 3 years, we were had a finished film and we're in festivals. And we went to over 30 festivals. I think the count now is like 38 festivals or something like that. And we won I was just looking at the list. We won Best Narrative Feature at at least six of those festivals that we went to.
That's
Audience
amazing.
Choice Awards, um, Emerging Director Award from the St. Louis International Film Festival, Best Narrative at the Tallgrass Film Festival, Best Narrative Feature Sedona, San Luis Obispo. Um, just some really great experiences going out to festivals, and but that experience too is really interesting. The festival experience, because at the beginning of our festival journey, nothing was coming together, and it didn't look like we were going to get into any festivals because at first you're kind of saving up your premiere, and you're
Yeah.
kind of hoping that you get into the biggest film festivals, right? So we got rejected by all the best film festivals, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it's like the next one. Then that A-list festival is gonna say yes, and then like
Yeah,
no.
and like I knew we made a really good film, um, and it was frustrating because we didn't get into Sundance, we didn't get into Toronto, we didn't get into any of these festivals that we were hoping to get into at first. Although I got a really nice letter from Sundance, which I don't think you normally do, but I got a letter from one of the programmers saying, "Hey, we really loved your film. I wish we had a spot for it. I'll recommend your film to some other festivals." That was cool, but
They don't do
um,
that. That's
no, they don't. They don't. So
yeah.
that was encouraging, but at the same time disappointing. But what I've found is that so we premiered the Tallgrass Film Festival, which is a really great up
What
and
was
coming
the festival?
festival. Tallgrass,
Tallgrass. Okay.
Tallgrass, really great independent film festival. And what I found is that it's so much better to be, at Tallgrass, we won the Audience Choice Award and we won Best Narrative Feature, and we had this great launch. And it's much better to have that experience than it is to be like one of the smaller films that nobody's talking about at Sundance, right?
Mm.
Like you can give away your premiere and nothing will happen, or you can find just the right festival and have some good success. And the
Who
success,
did who was in charge of doing all the festival route? Who the strategy behind it? You.
I was learning as I'm going, really. Like I know so much more now, but I was really learning as I was going. And we had some different people that I could ask, advice from. Dave Boyle, who is our one of our screenwriters. Dave Boyle and Ayako Fujitani are our screenwriters. And Dave Boyle is a very accomplished director in his own right and screenwriter. And he's done many different films that have had success at film festivals. So he was very instrumental in advising us about different festivals and reaching out to different people and making contacts and things like that. But then the film has to work on its own. It's got to stand on its own and find the audience.
So going back to financing your film,
Yeah.
um, and getting into these conversations around money and around asking for money, what will be your advice, or what will be the things that you can advise to filmmakers like hearing this episode or watching us,
Yeah.
they what they can do to pitch or to sell their film? Because in the end, you're selling it.
Yeah.
It's, you said, I am selling myself. I mean, it's not the film, the story, but it's also you as a filmmaker.
Yeah. I mean, I think there were multiple reasons why different people jumped on board with this project. We had a good pitch deck. It's an interesting story. Um, some people invested in the film because they knew me. There was a level of comfort knowing Brigham Taylor was involved, and he's a big producer with some good credits. Um, but ultimately, like when you're selling a film, you can't see the film. You don't know like there's a lot of trust
Yes.
involved. And so I would say when you're approaching people for money, um, you know, not not being too overbearing with the sales approach, and just like really, like, at least in my case, um just a really soft sell, and just saying, hey, I'm doing this project. You know me. I'm that I have integrity, and I'm going to make this film if you jump on board. um I have confidence that it's going to be a good film. I can't promise anything. Like, you need to be careful, because generally, independent films are, you know, a little bit of a risky investment. So you're asking people to, like, basically, I would tell everybody, don't invest anything in this film that's not comfortable, because, I don't know that it's
Can
gonna.
we, sorry, can we repeat
Yeah.
that last part? Because I lost you for 2 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, just doing a very soft sell, saying this project is happening. You know me, so I'm gonna do what I'm saying I'm gonna do. We're gonna make a really good film. I can't guarantee how it's gonna perform in the market,
Mm-hmm.
and don't, basically, you have to tell your investors, don't invest anything in this film that you're not willing to lose, because, it's not a sure thing. And so, um, we have about 21 investors, that came on board and just believed in the project, and believed in me and in Brigham and in the story. And it's been an interesting road. But this year I'm actually going to be able to make a distribution to our investors, because we are pulling in some money, and so that's good.
Yes.
Uh, it's going to be, kind of a marathon. It's going to take some time to pay them back, but at least we are making some money. And so, from what I understand from other filmmakers or other investors that have put money into films, I was talking to a guy the other day, and he's like, I've invested in, like, 7, 8 films. I've never made a dime from any of them, but it was just fun to be invest, doing. And he's like, it's great that you're making a to your investors. So I don't know if that's generally true for most films, but it's
You are in
pretty
a
tough
good
out
path.
there.
You are in a good path. So that means, okay,
Yeah.
you're making money, you are giving. So my question would be, is it investors your network, or do you have your network and then your network recommend you to someone else? So how was
Yeah,
the process of
it was
building this
mostly
investing group?
it's mostly people that I know, my network. There are a few where somebody that I know passed along the information or the pitch deck to another person, and brought them in. It was usually that would happen if they were already investing in the film, and then they told somebody else about it. Um, so yeah, that was an interesting process, but the overall it was kind of just it was very interesting to me that I had no idea who might be interested or who might not.
Yeah.
And so I started telling everybody, hey, this is something I'm doing. I'll send you the pitch deck if you're interested. Just, no, no, no obligation. I'm not going to feel bad interested, but if you are, let's have a conversation.
What I have learned with sales is that you can never assume
Yeah.
anything from the other part because they might be super interested or they might not. So
Yeah.
what you thought, okay, then they're gonna be super interested in this, and then it's like suddenly they're not. So yeah, so
Yeah.
it's very interesting to see how other people react to the selling part, or if you're asking for money, it's like never assume anything because
Yeah.
you never know.
You never know.
You
Yep.
never know.
Yeah.
So after
And
the
I'd say be bold and just, be have confidence. Don't apologize, you know, just have confidence and say like this is what I'm doing, this is happening. If you're interested, let me know. And like don't say I'm sorry to approach you or ask or like no, just hey, this is what I'm doing.
this is yeah, yeah, uh, bold and have
Yeah.
confidence.
Yeah.
What the because now obviously you are in distribution phase, so your film is already out there, you have film distributor, you already have the film festival route complete. So what do you learn about distribution that you wish you have known before?
Um, hmm. Well, I mean, with this film and it being my first feature film, I knew that I wasn't gonna attract a distribution partner at the beginning. Drama, it's kind of what you would call a soft film, right? It's a drama, it's somebody's, personal journey. Um, it's not a super uh marketable or, you know, it's marketable because the film and because we've won awards and because people have noticed the film. All of the success of the film has been through word of mouth. So I just say this with the knowledge that because it was my first film, I knew that I wouldn't be able to pre-sell it or get distribution beforehand. But the thing that you can do, and the thing that I have learned is that you can do a lot to kind of start to get the word out and build your audience and build your promotion and marketing and spend time on that. Now the next project that I do is something a lot more commercial and something that and now I've got a track record. I've made a film. People can see that I've award-winning actor and so there's a little bit more confidence and then with a project that's a little bit more commercial, I'm uh I think we'll be able to, get some distribution in place before we produce the film.
So what strategies work best for you? So it's not what strategies work best for you, but what stage of the film you like or you enjoy the most.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy the production phase the most. I really like being on the set and going back to that earlier what we were talking about where there's that fear of, like what if I'm not good at this? What if I
Yeah.
fall on my face, right? But I was able to get over that pretty quickly by just saying, "Hey, here's an opportunity. Here's something that I've always wanted to do. I'm just gonna totally commit, put myself out there. If I fall on my face, I fall on my face, but I am not gonna hold anything back and I'm going to do this with all my heart. And I loved every day of the production. I love working with the crew. I love working with the actors. And it turns out I can do this. I am good at this. And so that feels really good when you find that this is something that you can do, something that you've wanted to do for a long time and something that you are actually good at. And so that's the process that I enjoy the most. And I guess yeah, like there's a steep learning curve for after you make the film. And what festivals are best to get into? Why didn't I get into this festival? Like there was this period of time where we had a finished film. We submitted a finished film to Sundance, and it was like around in, I think it was August or something like that. And then and we learned that we didn't get into Sundance like in November.
Mm.
And then a bunch of other festivals we didn't get in January, February, March. And I'm like, what's going on? Like I got really nervous and it was some dark days, some really dark days. And then we started getting some calls from like more of these like mid-level film festivals, like Tallgrass, like really pursued us. Like they I had heard that they were a good festival. We submitted to them and I got this email and they're like, "Hey, would you consider, premiering your film at our festival? We would love to have your film." And then we got accepted into the Hawaii International Film Festival. Then we got accepted into the Heartland Film Festival, and to kind of it started kind of snowball a little bit, and then I knew we were going to be okay, at least in our festival run. Then we started
Yeah.
winning some awards, and that was good. But man, there were some dark days when I just like nothing was coming through. None of these big film festivals. We got turned down by all these film festivals. It was really tough.
What you're describing, and I think there's a lot of filmmakers go through that as
Yeah,
well because
yeah,
they submitted. There's a lot of rejection as well. I
a
mean,
lot of yeah,
from when you have the idea up to distribution and having your film out there, it's just you face rejection after your rejection again and
yeah.
again and again. So I
And there's
think
supposed to be well, sorry, go ahead.
no, I mean, I was going to say what would be your advice for those filmmakers? You already have that experience. You already, I mean, you said it was a really dark time when you didn't got
Yeah,
any.
well, in distribution too, because it wasn't just festivals. Started winning awards and festivals, and we got some really, really good press, and there was building word of mouth, and we had, um, you know, we were starting to build a really good like Rotten Tomatoes score. Like we had really great critics reactions. We actually, we have a 91% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. We have a 97% um, tomato meter score from the audience, which is really good. But at the same time, we are having friends that know distributors walk our film into the distributors, walk it in, present it. Months go by, crickets.
Yeah,
We don't hear anything. They finally watch it like 3 months later and say no. So that happened a lot too. Like the distribution was not coming together, and that was really frustrating and dark. And now since that time, I think for a lot of filmmakers, I've realized that self-distribution is definitely a viable option, and you don't necessarily need a distributor. But we did want a theatrical release if possible. And at one of the festivals, we were approached by a distribution company called Purdue, and they were really excited about the film and wanted to do a theatrical release. And so we did have a limited theatrical release in the US. We also, because our actor, Arata, this is Arata Ayura, he's very well known in Japan. And so we had a theatrical release in Japan. And we've also had a theatrical release in Taiwan. Um, and now we're in the streaming, the TVOD, right? Transactional video on demand uh, period, which will be about a 6 month period. We've been on Apple TV, Amazon Prime, Google Play, Fandango at Home as a rental.
hmm,
Um, we're 2 months into it. When we started, I think our distributor was saying if we had like 1,000 rentals a week, that would be pretty good. We've been averaging about almost 3,500 a week.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. And so, and it's
You also are
all,
in airlines as well?
yeah. So we were approached by a guy called me that does in-flight entertainment, and he had researched the title and just, cold contacted me, and he said that he had been a buyer for an airline in the past, and now he's a seller, so he knows what buyers are looking for, and we agreed to let him go out there, and so now we're on United, Emirates, Singapore, Cathay Pacific, and Ethiopian Airlines.
That's
And so
so cool.
I've been getting a lot of this is kind of fun because I've been getting a lot of texts from friends on airplanes that are saying, "Hey, Tokyo Cowboy is a new
Yeah.
release on United Airlines. This is so cool. I can watch your film." So that's been pretty cool. And so that's from the transactional video on demand and the in-flight entertainment. We're going to be getting some money over the next couple of months. I actually just got back um, or transfer into our account from
That's great.
the
Money.
in-flight
It's
in-flight
happening. It's
entertainment
happening,
sale.
guys.
Yeah, yeah. So it's happening.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, feels good.
if filmmakers out there are thinking, I might not be doing making money with my film, here there's an
Yeah,
example that it can happen.
yeah,
So going back to marketing,
yeah,
you and me have worked together.
yeah,
And what was your experience for you through this process of like shaping the marketing?
yeah, yeah. So it's been good, and just to have, I think it's good to have somebody that knows a little bit more than you do, helping you and kind of leading you through stuff. And one of the suggestions I know that you had was or one of the things that we kind of developed together was maybe I should get some help, like maybe some university students. I was able to get three university students that were interested in marketing and film, and they've been helping me with our social media and doing posts, and so that's been really good. We also kind of developed a plan to use LinkedIn for some of the promotion, and I was able to partner with the Japan Society in New York where we did our premiere. And so with a couple of there's a lot of different Japan societies around the country. So that, you helped me identify kind of, what are some of the target audience that we should go after. And one of them is, Japan uh, loving individuals or Japanese Americans and so we did this LinkedIn Live event recently, which I think was pretty successful. And LinkedIn is an interesting platform to use that's, I think, not as saturated as some of the other, like TikTok is really saturated, I think, with a lot of film promotion, and LinkedIn isn't as much. And so that was good. So yeah, it's been good. Like you've been helping me to kind of amplify the efforts, and it's just me. Like I don't have a team except for these interns, and I've been spending a lot of time on it, and which is, it's good and it's bad because it's good. It helps the film. Ultimately, it helps me and it promotes me, but I'm not making any money yet until I pay back my investors. So all the time that I spend marketing or working on Tokyo Cowboy, I'm not getting paid anything. And so I've got to also have other side jobs and getting other projects going and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Don't
What did
you?
you think? What did you think, Rosa? How did we do together?
So, I mean, I think it was good. Just having the structure. I think I remember when we spoke when you were going to premiere in Japan, and
Mm,
then you premiere, and then there was a distribution, and then you come back a few
yeah.
months ago.
We started talking like maybe a month or a little bit before we started our streaming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That was
Yeah.
like a few months ago. And I remember you told me, I'm really curious to know who is our audience.
Yeah.
So for me, because I've been working in marketing and distribution for a long time, So knowing that audience since the beginning is like something that you need to know. Um, but it's been fun. I mean, and it's been fun to see you like identify your audience and getting out there and just putting together this team of interns that they're
Yeah.
super excited. They love the film. And they're doing all this content and they're finding collaborations as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the end, you're doing it alone, but it's as you said, like we can find people to help us to get this ball rolling faster or better.
Yeah.
So, if you had one piece of advice for filmmakers starting their journey today, what would
Yeah.
it be?
I think I already said it, which was, you are the money, right? Like the power is within you. Don't wait for somebody else to greenlight your dream. Just start doing it, right? Like there's a lot of tools that you already have. Just, you know, go forward. And there's real power in just saying, I am doing this. I'm going up the hill. It's happening. And come along with me because it's happening. Because I think we get caught. That really, because we were talking earlier about this project that I had right out of film school, which had some really great elements to it, but I just didn't know. I didn't have any clue how to get put those elements together, how to get financing, how to like and I think, if I don't know what would have been different, but maybe if I was more determined of just like, hey, this is happening, like we're actually doing this, set some dates, set some goals, and just start doing it. I guess I did. I was doing what I knew at the time. Like I'd go and do some location scouting and find this. I was doing what I knew in terms of production to prepare to do that film, but I didn't really know anything about how to find the financing or put together, a distribution partner or different things like that. But
Don't
yeah,
you think the difference between then and now is, of course, you have a lot of experience now, and then also
yeah,
your network
my network
it's
is bigger.
it's
Yeah,
bigger, and you have the experience, and you have the experience, you have the network, you have a
yeah,
really great career that
yeah.
is helping you to
Yeah, I mean,
set it.
that's one piece of advice too, is just like, keep working, keep creating, you know, just all the work in television and documentary was great. And like it helped me support a family. It helped me I was really fulfilled creatively, was working, just be doing things.
By the way, I already said it, but congratulations on your 31st wedding anniversary.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you have like a stable family. You
Yeah. We got 4 kids. Our youngest is just finishing her junior year in high school. So next year she'll be a senior, and then we'll have all 4 kids graduated. It's kind of crazy. Like to
Wow.
think, yeah, 31 years I've been married. It's
That's
been
a
pretty awesome.
long road. That's a
I would say for filmmakers, have a good family life in addition to what you're doing. Like that's been a real great support to me. Like I have loved having a companion and going on this journey together and the support that we've given each other and this long journey, it's been really important, and having our kids and the joy of that, like it's been really, really amazing.
I think what you have mentioned now, just have a good family life. Like
Mhm.
have a, yeah, I mean, I think many filmmakers can take this career as I will do everything I can and I work long hours and I'll be like hustling, hustling, hustling and suffering in this film industry and then
Yeah.
forgetting the rest, forgetting that you have
Yeah.
a life, that you have a
Gotta have
family.
gotta have something that fills up your well, right? You gotta have something that gives you strength and keeps you going. And for me, that's been, family and other relationships and faith and things that really help sustain my life and make my life good in the process of trying to like be really creative too and do these projects. So yeah.
That's really cool. So, what's next for you? So, any upcoming projects? You're already working your next feature film. So,
Yeah.
tell us about
Yeah.
it.
So I've got a documentary project that I've been working on for the last about 5 years that I think I'm really close to getting some people to come in and help provide some funding to get it finished. I want to hire an editor that I've worked with in the past, and so I'm excited about that. And then there's this big kind of commercial big project that I'd like to do. It's kind of a big action adventure epic kind of film. It's going to require a lot more resources than Tokyo Cowboy did, but I'm really excited about that. And it's also an idea that I've had for 25 years. I've been working on this, just kind of thinking about it for all this time, and have a script, but it's not quite in shape where I want it. And so now I'm working again with Brigham Taylor to improve this idea, and we have a screenwriter named Dave Parkin working on it, and he's done some really great stuff. And so I'm optimistic about that I'll be able to get that going in the next year or two. I'm also trying to put together some development funding for that so that we can get a screenplay, get in place, and be able to make a strong pitch with this film and put in place some distribution, think about our audience and marketing and
Yes.
how to get that, from the beginning. So yeah, yeah.
That was going to be my next question. So now that you know all the hustle around marketing and how it's not as easy to get to the final audience. Would you do the audience and marketing, but you just answer it?
Yeah.
So where invite people to watch Tokyo Cowboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tokyo Cowboy is available right now. You can see it on Amazon Prime. You can see it on Apple TV. If you there was a 1980 there was a film made in the 1980s
Okay.
that is also named Tokyo Cowboy.
Oh,
So you got to be careful. We actually there was an article that I found online just the other day that was saying like the top 10 comedies on Apple TV right now, and Tokyo Cowboy was number 5. They picked
you're Tokyo Cowboy, not the
my Tokyo
1980.
Cowboy
Okay.
was number 5. But in the body of the article, they had found like a little cut and paste section that was not our film. So it
Hmm.
was about our film, but then like they found some information online and there was actually a link to the other film. So I'm trying to get them to correct that.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, the film was made just just a couple of years ago. So it's the newer Tokyo Cowboy, and are we're going to be selling DVD and Blu-ray on Amazon, I think probably July 1st.
Okay. Cool.
And that's going to have some extra bonus features, a behind the scenes, excuse me, documentary, and a special message from our lead actor, Arata. And so that you should look for that. Like I think physical media is important, because you never know when a streamer might take the film off. You can't find it anymore. I think for that reason, physical media has been making a little bit of a comeback. So we're excited to be having to have a DVD and Blu-ray available.
Does all this information is in your website? Is on your website?
Yes.
So, okay, so
Yeah.
we'll add the link to your website
There's
so
there's
they
links,
can.
yeah, there's links to watch the film on streaming right now. Once the DVD becomes available, we'll put the link up for the DVD.
Perfect, guys. So the information it's in the description of this episode, so you can find the link. You can click and you can go directly to watch Tokyo Cowboy.
Cowboyfilm.com.
So I have watched the film. I loved it. I watched it with my husband as well. We both enjoy it. We had a really good time. It's those films that it's feel good film. So it's not there's no drama. There's like you can even laugh. I mean, there's like a little comedy in
Yeah,
there.
a lot of humor, a lot of heart, and it's basically a story about bridging the divides between people. It's a fish out of water story about a Japanese businessman who goes to Montana thinking he's going to improve this ranch, turn it into a premium Wagyu beef operation, and everything goes wrong, and he has to kind of recalibrate his life. Um, but it's filled with a lot of humor and humanity, and it's a it's a well-made film. It's a film like the acting in it is really good. The performances are some of the things that I'm the most proud about. And it's been really well received in Japan. People love the
Amazing.
film in Japan. And in fact, we've heard from people in Japan that they think this film was made by a Japanese filmmaker. So that's like one of the best compliments I think we can get is when people think the film was made by a Japanese director.
That's really cool. That's really cool because you can see, normally when you are like outside Hollywood and then you
Yeah,
make a film and it's like you kind of immediately know there is American.
yeah,
So actually that can be adapted to the Japanese culture and they can feel, okay, this is something that can belong to us. That's a
yeah.
really nice compliment.
And that I think a large part of that comes from we had an American and a Japanese screenwriter working together to create the screenplay. And then all along the way, like we just really wanted to be authentic, and we had a lot of discussions on set about like, does this really feel right to you? Like, is this representative of your culture? There's a Latino character in there, and there's a quinceanera,
Yeah.
and our cinematographer Oscar Jimenez is Latino, and we were asking him, like, does this look right? Does this feel right? And so just it goes back to that idea of the documentary filmmaking that I done, where you just want to make sure that you're not forcing anything, that you're being really authentic with what you're trying to do.
Now that you mention, that's something else that I really like, that it's the mix of different races in the
Yeah,
film,
culture.
like
Yeah,
different cultures, different
yeah,
uh, different traditions. And
yeah,
even though it's like American, Japanese, you can find it's just the US is so rich in culture. It's not
yeah,
only one race or one culture, but it's like different cultures. And then you can see that mix in the
yeah,
film. So it's
yeah,
like it feels like authentic and the same warm and welcoming. No, it's
yeah,
like we always see like white or black sometimes in films. And this one has like a different colors in it.
yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
that's really, really cool.
Yeah, so check out Tokyo Cowboy.
Yes, check out Tokyo Cowboy. Link in the description and just leave a review as well. So
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
forget.
post a review on Rotten Tomatoes or on Letterboxd or IMDb. We've got good ratings on all those platforms, and we can always use another good review.
Yes. So thank you so much for being with us, Mark,
Yeah.
today. So happy to have you and see you next time.
All right. Thanks, Rosa. Bye.